welcome to another episode of the Not Fazed Talkshow, and we've got a very special episode because we've got none other than Mr. Adaro calling in from Holland. How's it going, mate?
Yes, good, and thanks for having me. And I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to having you. It's been a while since you were in Belfast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, some years.
The last time was T13, one of the warehouse shows. You were Guns for Hire.
Yeah.
Around Christmas
Yeah.
time.
It was sick.
Yeah.
That was the night that me and my partner decided we were going to have a child. So thanks very much.
Cool.
How's things? Seen you're just back from Chile, was it?
Yeah, was crazy.
Yeah.
It was Creamfields, Chile, and I was there for a Guns for Hire gig.
Yeah.
And you always hear about this and that country is the best crowd, but I can tell you the Chilean crowd is one of a kind.
Yeah.
I've heard this actually. Yeah.
Because most of the time you see the people on the front dancing, but here it's from the front till the last one in the end is going crazy like he's on the front,
Yeah. That's cool. I've heard that actually. The Chilean crowd, an Argentinian crowd too, are pretty. But that's the same area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
Argentina.
Argentina, but there is no really a lot of hardstyle parties in Argentina. It's more concentrated in South America, in Chile, and a little bit in Mexico.
Yeah. That's cool. It's crazy how hardstyle is literally taken over the world, like. Because from whenever we started listening to it, and then I'm sure even whenever you started producing it and becoming a hardstyle DJ, it wasn't very popular, like.
No, and nobody knows why it's Chile and not the other South American country. It's strange how this began. I think it began with internet or something, or a small scene. There is no reason why Chile and not Peru or something. But it is the way it is.
That's it.
But it all started from Holland, though. That is the motherland for hardstyle.
I think so. Yeah, I think I was at the dance floor when it was born.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was. I was my youth when I went out to clubs was like 95, 96, 97. That was the gabber time, you call it here in Holland, the hardcore gabber scene. And that died around 98, 99. And what you saw at that period was revelation of the old school house sound, like the 1991, 92 sound.
Yeah.
The beginnings of the harder music.
Yeah.
The slower, before hardcore, that sound. And you saw a lot of DJs playing that weekly, but it was boring to play constantly the same music,
Yeah.
So you saw the first DJs like who were there, Gizmo, Prophet, Boss Fuzz, Lady Dana. They start playing records from Germany, Italy, and all these different styles, combining it with the old school.
Yeah.
And suddenly, they were like, hey, we're going to do that in the studio. And that was what I think is the beginning of hardstyle.
Yeah, I would agree. Like Lady Dana, The Prophet, those tunes back then were the first. It was just sort of the same reverse bass. But it was perfect. Like,
but it seems to have come full circle now because the techno scene are all playing all the early hardstyle songs in their sets, and it's a scene that give hardstyle a lot of stick and bad press over the years, and now. Even there,
what I see happening here is it is early hardstyle sound, but you cannot call it hardstyle because you have to call it techno.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not fashionable. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Yeah.
So you have to have some fancy clothes and some attitude and call it techno, and then it's cool.
I know, but it is, and they're even producing it now at around 150 BPM. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's but I'm looking very positive at it because it's fucking exciting and fucking cool. It's something is happening. I can understand that the real techno purists hate it, but I cannot wait to visit a party like this. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I have bookings every week, so I cannot visit parties. But I cannot wait to have a free weekend to go to a hard techno party and experience what it's like between the kids.
Just go to a classics party. It's the same thing.
It wasn't quite techno. It was you started off as a house producer, one of Driftwood. That's how you.
That was not how I started off, but it was my first success.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And I'm mainly I'm really a music lover in general. I like everything from the softest music until the hardest one. I like it all. So I also like to produce it all, but I only have time nowadays for Adaro and Guns with Randy together.
Yeah.
So
Dave, he was the first person to book Ron outside of Holland. So he was many years ago.
Oh, Randy still talks about that gig with Rams, right?
Yes, with Rams.
Yeah, they still talk about it.
Busy character, Rams.
Yeah.
A few stories for off camera there.
Rams was he was over not that long ago with Ron in the Telegraph building, and that's the first time I'd met Rams. He was fucking boys a laugh like.
He is. He nearly killed me.
Good guy.
I stayed in his house. We were going to Countdown when it was called Countdown before Freak Show, and I stayed in Rams' house, and he picked me up from Schiphol and drove to where he lives, but he kept driving up the wrong side to overtake red lights, and then was like, fucking tourists. I was like, I'm going to die. This is it. This is how I die in this guy's car. But we made it there safe and sound. But yeah, he is a crazy guy.
He is. Yeah, also a friend. Yeah, cool.
That's good. It's crazy the much fucking high lives intertwine in different countries through this thing we call hardstyle and music, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like,
yeah.
So what?
That's the nice thing.
What made you change then from doing house to doing hardstyle?
Well, it's not that I changed, but it was I was doing all like Monday producing house, Tuesday hardstyle, Wednesday house. But then you never get into a flow, So I had some tracks coming out. But then these guys that I produced house with said to me like, "Hey, I saw you perform last weekend in your local club playing hardstyle," and he said, "You're a hardstyle guy. When you play hardstyle, that's way more your thing as the house scene. You're on stage. You look aggressive, power, energy. That's more hard stuff."
Yeah.
And he said, while it was not in his advantage, he said you should focus on hardstyle. And at that time, I also produced together with Randy, and he said the same. Like, if you don't focus, it will never become a success. Yeah. So when I started listening to those guys, then it went. From then on, it went good.
Because that was something I was actually going to touch on later, but since you brought it up, whenever I brought Randy over. I think it was 2008. He did. We use Ableton, so I asked him about Ableton and does he use it, and he said that he was working on an Ableton Live project that was going to be a big spectacular. Obviously, we now know this turned into Guns, but how long were you guys in the making of that then? Because that Guns didn't really come out to 2011 time, so. That was what 4 years?
It's more a step-by-step process. It was like we were making tracks as Randy and Adaro, and we had some releases, and we knew at that time it's going to be like a lot of collabs together because we had a really good click.
Yeah, that's
so we were like, hey, why not make something special of it with a live act that we can perform, but we don't want to be those boring guys behind a laptop on stage.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do something extra for the entertainment factor. So then we start, brainstorming.
Yeah.
With people, management. The Prophet was in the brainstorm because we were at Scantrax. And then it came out step by step. Hey, what kind of movies do you like? I like more the classic mafia movies. Randy more the futuristic mafia movies. So it was the futuristic weird mask with the classic suit.
Yeah.
Nice combination. Hey, we both like the movie Hitman. What's the other name for Hitman? Guns for Hire. But guns with the S, every URL and everything is already gone.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do a Z. That was also a thing in Hardstyle at that time.
That's right, yeah.
So, that's how it step by step it went to that. Then we did a track to announce it like Randy and Adaro, a.k.a. Guns for Hire, Gangsta Don't Dance. That was like a transition track.
Remember it.
And then after that, it was Guns for Hire. And we had a gig planned at Decibel 2011 or 12. And that was our first gig. And that was we worked towards that.
Well, it's an iconic brand now, Guns for Hire.
It's some show as well. When you go to see it, I remember me and my girlfriend, we went to Decibel, and she was really excited to see the show. I'd seen it before, but she'd never seen it. And you were playing the pre-party, and we went down, and we thought we'd missed it. And just as we were leaving, the lights went down, and the start of the show came. It's like, oh, just there we go. And it was
nice.
It blew our minds, and then it was back seniors in Scotland again. And then if we knew you were in Belfast, we would probably been like, oh well, weekend away. But it's a phenomenal, and the fact just changed the show as well. Every so often to keep it fresh. Is it good?
Yeah, we like to tour, of course, and we give every season a new tour name and new visuals, new tracks. It's a constant thing that we come with new tracks. We want to keep it because we have lots of fans that travel along with us and see multiple gigs in a year, and we don't want to be boring for them. We want to stay fresh and new stuff always.
Yeah. Well, see what you were saying not that long about going back to. See, you were saying you produced like house on a Monday, something else on a Tuesday. What is your process going into the studio? Do you just sit down like a 9 to 5 and hope for the best, or do you always have like a clear plan and idea before you go in?
No. Randy and me are quite the same in that we have a really strong work ethic from tomorrow. How do you call it? In the morning until the evening late, and sometimes night. We are really studio beasts.
Yeah.
It's about making the hours.
I'm making the bet.
We have two projects both, so we have to make the hours, and with the traveling during the weekend, it can be difficult, of course, but you have to make your hours to make it all possible, Yeah. So it's if you don't have inspiration for a track, you can do some sound design, or you can do you can always do something. People that say, I don't feel it today, I'm going out. I'm not that kind of guy, Yeah. So you can always do something.
You can never have too.
You can make melodies if the kick doesn't work today. You can make lyrics if everything doesn't work. You can always do something.
That's what we have started to do. We have started now writing all our own lyrics and that. But we subscribe to that idea. We sit down every day, no matter what. And it's like, if we can't get something cool down, then we'll just make kick drums, or we'll make synths, or we'll write melodies. Like there's always something you can do. Like
100%. I also saw like the guy who's really hyped at the moment, the house guy. Wait a minute, I'm going to check his name because it was really inspirational what he said on YouTube or something, or it's Instagram. From Stop Dancing. What was the track from 2 years ago with the pandemic?
Stop like that. I know the song you're on about. I can't remember the guy's name.
I don't.
With the Blessed Madonna. Or was it? Oh yeah, Fred again. That's of course the name. Yeah. That guy really had a post about this thing we're talking about, and I agreed 100% with him. I look it up on YouTube. It's about his work ethic, and I cannot agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The only way to success is to put the hours in. Now, obviously, we're still a way off that, but we're not like what I always say to Dave whenever we're having bad days. I was like, mate, I don't want to look back in 10 years and regret not trying my
Yeah.
best. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Try if you.
That's the most important thing.
If you throw enough shit at a wall, something's bound to stick.
What?
It's a Belfast saying. If you throw enough shit at a wall, something's bound to stick.
Hey, that's true. I can understand what you mean.
Yeah.
You know, always something when you do nothing, nothing will happen.
yeah, that's it. Too many people think
Yeah.
that they deserve a shot, but the only thing that deserves a shot is hard work. Like, so what's next for you then? Are you traveling this weekend?
This weekend it's a party in the Netherlands,
Oh.
just taking distance. Yeah.
We've got to that stage now where we like playing in Belfast because you don't have to get a plane.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're doing it.
How is the scene over there? Is it growing?
Yeah,
Huge.
we've got. See, me and Dave came from like a hard trance. Do you remember Subground? Active.
Yeah.
We came from that sort of scene, so we have only really started been producing hardstyle maybe past 3 years, 2 years since the pandemic properly.
We've always loved hardstyle.
I
but
think
we always liked
what we talked about the hard techno, that's a subground.
Yes, yeah. Well, we did that there for a while. Whenever it was cult Q dance, and
Yeah,
things were going
yeah.
well, but then obviously it died, and then so. But the hard scene here, like there's a group of boys that we're helping as well. There's maybe 8 acts that are producing real top quality hardstyle, Frenchcore, everything else. Do
I
you know
would
what
say
mean?
Belfast in particular is probably, I would say, alongside Glasgow, is probably the 2 biggest places in the UK for hardstyle for the scene. It's just everybody knows it. They know all the new release tunes that come out. They sing along to it. It's just
Aye, they'll sing your melody. Do you know what I mean? You can pull your melody out and they'll
Yeah.
sing it. So,
And you know if they are real hardstyle.
yes, that's it.
But we spent so long being jealous because England had a fantastic hard scene and ours was non-existent when we started out, and you were sort of playing to 20, 30 people. And now, within the last 10 years, it's changed. The English scene is not doing as well, but our scene here, when we
booming.
play in England, they're all, I wish I could get over to them Belfast gigs. They look awesome. Like, we used to say that
Yeah,
about you 10 years.
England gigs are getting better the last 2 years, I think.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
played Creamfields last year, didn't you?
Yeah, that was really good, and I see guys in clubs that I know the names of that
Yeah.
were house clubs doing a hardstyle
Ministry
night,
of
you know.
Sound.
Yeah.
In London, Ministry of Sound in London's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would expect there to be a hardstyle night? Yeah, super cool.
Fabric in Spain as well. I thought that was quite a shock. That was pretty much
Yeah.
a commercial club, and now
Yeah, that means something.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good to see. But as I say, like, see, whenever I was starting out, obviously my parents and all were like, "Oh, that's just drug music and this." And I'm like, "I'm sober. I'm working. I'm not going out and doing it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even drink alcohol anymore." But people
Yeah.
still look at me because of what I do, and I'm sure I suppose Holland would be a bit more liberal in terms of that.
yeah.
But like people they just thought, it's drug music, this, that, and the other. But then see when you go to the clubs, all the people are the nicest. They're not. Obviously, it is. Don't get me wrong. There is elements, of course, but it's not. It's not the way people make it out. And then within the last 4 or 5 years, people have started to realise that it's a community, and it's a tight scene. Do you know what I mean? It's not bad.
No, and here, for example, here in Holland, it's the what I talked about in the beginning when I grew up. That hardcore gabber scene was so big, and also had a commercial side with happy hardcore.
Yeah.
That's like if you now talk with any Dutch people about the 90s, what comes in their mind is happy hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, so it's part of the Dutch
All in
culture.
stock.
So everyone is raised here with dance music, and it's not that that's for parties and evil and pure drugs. You know, it's now part of the Dutch culture. You know,
It is.
so that's a stigma we had mainly in the 90s, but now it's not because drugs is everywhere, you know.
Yeah, that's it. It's the same here, but it's just over here is very, very conservative in that regard. It's looked down the nose still, but it's changed since the pandemic, especially. It's really changed, like, which is good for us, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I myself are also no drugs user, no alcohol.
Yeah.
But I don't mind what people do because I'm DJing now on at parties and stuff for like almost 15 years, and I never saw any fight in the crowd, never.
But yeah, that's...
And when I go to a bar, I see a fight, you know.
Yep, I agree.
So I be playing for guys that maybe do here and there a pill, then pure drinking and then get aggressive.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, we do always say, because when people who don't do this kind of work, they think, oh, when you go behind the curtain, all you're doing is taking drugs and partying. But as we've always said, the higher you move up the ladder, the more professional you come, the more you realise that the top ones are just having some water or a wee glass of Coke or something backstage. It's not because there's so much gigs and flights and that. You've got to...
I cannot speak for other people, but if you go partying every weekend and you also have to perform in the studio, it will go wrong, you know?
Yeah. I made that mistake when I was younger.
I think it's not possible to have that hardcore rock and roll life and also work day and night. That's a hard combination.
You can't burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah, that's it. So what we normally do, anyone we've had on the show, we obviously just talk shop usually, and then we'll ask them like 10 questions, some of it about music, some of it not, just to close it out. So we'll run through some of our questions with you now and then wrap her up.
So the first one is, how would your family describe what you do as a profession?
My mother passed away, but that was before my breakthrough. She was still alive at the Driftwood period. She liked it all.
Yeah.
And I always got support from home. My father is more like a businessman, so
Papa
he
Adaro.
became but he has a hair salon. It's he's like I said, more about looking also at the money side. You know, can my son make a living from what he does? You know.
Yeah.
But when he saw that was okay, then he became a fan. You know, he comes to gigs and likes to be in the crowd with the Hardstyle people and get pictures and everything. So
I would love my dad to come to one of my gigs. My dad hates our music, thinks it's terrible, and there's no interest in that. When I told him he might get a free beer backstage, he was more interested than coming to watch the show. So,
but did he ever go or not?
Not yet. We're still working on that.
Well, once.
And maybe most of the time, what I see with these things, when they went and they see how it's like, and they see their kid performing for people, then they're gonna say, "Hey, that's cool. I want to go more."
That's the hope anyway.
So I think we alluded on it earlier about, you said you were there when Hardstyle was invented, but this what was the first music concert or event? Obviously, you attended.
That I was with my father when I was young to some concert, but it was not my type of concert, but more like along with my father. But the first one I can remember was a Vanilla Ice concert when I was 10.
Right, okay.
And that was also like, when I was 10 with my father, but the one that really was my first concert, like that is it, was Lenny Kravitz. In
fantastic.
Do you know what Mangs was? Mangs was Lady Dana at Planet Love. Planet Love was Lady Dana was the first like proper like event that like in a what would you call it, an arena thing.
Yeah.
Obviously I went to a club before that, but that was the first like big open fucking thing. So now you know why I like Hardstyle so much.
Well, mine wasn't that cool. I had.
There's you talk about you ask me the concerts. You know, I mean like I thought about pop concerts, but when I think about my first rave,
No,
we
that's
do mean.
that's what we mean. That Lady Dana was. I've never. The only concert I ever was at was Garth Brooks, and that was a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, when I think about my first rave, like my first parties, that were life changing. You know, they were in a small club nearby here. That was like I was a full hard rock guy,
Yeah.
and then in a small club in town here, I changed 180 degrees to full hardcore dance music.
Yeah.
That shit. Like there was, it was an experience with going out, feeling the music, the lights, the smoke, the stroboscopes. You know, when I felt that and I saw the people dancing in a weird way, and I heard, I remember even the tracks, Moby Feeling So Real and Thunderball Bonsai Channel 1. Those two tracks at that night made me switch totally. I went the Monday after, I went to the CD shop. I had to have the CDs that were the tracks were on and everything, and I was completely into that after that.
My first one was that changed me. Because I was not a fan of dance music. I always loved hip hop and rap music and things like that. And then I heard Yoji Ba Mahanika Hardstyle Disco, and that just picked the ear up a wee bit, and that was it. I was hooked.
Yeah,
What a character.
Yeah, that's a nice thing, you know. And then most of the time you have to experience it live for the first time. You hear it a lot.
Yeah,
but it is. It's one thing to hear it, but whenever you actually go and experience it and you see the lights. But we always joke as well with people. People think it's cool for us, but we don't really get to see the lights because we're providing that. Everybody else gets to see the glitz and the glamour, and we get to see everybody out in the crowd, which is different perspective, you know.
Sometimes, you know, like when I have time and I'm booked on a festival and I have some spare hours, I go walking around and experiencing the party from the other side, you know.
Yeah.
Just walk in the crowd and feel it, like you were still that kid that felt it the first time, and then you also still feel what lives at the moment, you know?
Yeah.
Do you find it harder being in the crowd now because obviously you're a lot more famous?
That most of the time people don't expect it. Most thing is what they say. You look like Adaro, you know?
Right. Okay.
And most people don't think it's so. Most of the time I just dance and feel it. You know, I'm a music fan. You know, I wanna feel it.
Yeah.
Well, the next question that we have leads quite well into that. What would you say is the best event that you've either attended or you've played at? Just for that.
That's a different one, of course, that I attended was, I think, the 10-year anniversary of Thunderdome. Was 2002 or 3 or something. And my personal favorite that I played was DEFCON 2015.
Right, okay. And is there any reason why that one is your favorite one out of all the DEFCONs?
Because it was my second time on the red stage, but the first time I was not happy with how it went.
Okay.
And the second time I was completely happy. Everything went perfect, and it also I had to close the Sunday, and the Sunday was a more die-hard day, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to close it. That's a big honor, and the weather went from light to dark, and the music fitted what happened with the light, you know.
Really set the tone.
Yeah, I heard it from the important people backstage after, that was a good one, you know. And sometimes you think you had a good one, and you hear different reactions, and that at that time I heard only positive reactions, and you feel it, and I still get messages about that set because it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's just my
proud of it.
Of all my sets, my most popular set.
Oh, that's good. So is there any music act you have saw and been surprised at how good they are?
The first time I saw Limp Bizkit live was
class.
the same as on a CD.
A wee bit
And
jealous, actually.
it was live. So it was so good that I was like, whoa, this is... Because I go to a lot of concerts, and sometimes it's cool that it's different than on the CD, but sometimes it also can be annoying a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I with it.
But this was so spot on, so tight, and so exactly like how I knew him. And then, it was a small stage, so I was completely into it.
That's amazing. I would love to have seen Limp Bizkit live.
I know.
Yeah.
That's whenever I was young too. That what was it? MTV. They were always on MTV, and that's back then. That's the only. There was no YouTube or nothing, so loved it.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the next one we have? What would you say is the most fun music event that you've ever attended?
Like I said, Thunderdome 10 years.
Yeah.
That was, or as a visitor for me, it was like I told, the hardcore scene died, and that was the first event after that where they went back in time, you know?
Yeah.
And I was at that time 22 or something, and they played the tracks from when I was 15, 16 for the first time again after that period. For me, it was the first time, like a classics event with music from my time.
Even over here, Thunderdome is like classed as special. Like, you still see the big Thunderdome sign popping up all the time. Like, people over here still get really nostalgic for that.
Come to raves and all on the Thunderdome jackets. It's a marvel.
The best logo ever. It's iconic. It's something that everybody here is proud of.
Yeah. Right. So, is there any artist band you wish you would or could have seen?
Queen.
We said the same when we done it. We admit when we done these questions ourselves, we asked each other the questions a couple of weeks ago, and we both said Queen.
Yeah.
I saw all my favorite bands when I was a kid, like from the 80s. I almost saw them all.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of concerts. The only one I'm still missing is Bruce Springsteen, but I have one ticket, and I'm still looking every day on a site for a second ticket for my wife. But for the rest, you know, the Prince, Lenny Kravitz, Madonna, all these icons, I all saw them, you know?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, it looks
and
like
the Queen is the big one missing.
It looks like your wife's not going to see him all.
What?
It looks like your wife's not going to see him, but you are.
For Bruce Springsteen?
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Bruce Springsteen is super music. We love it. Yeah.
It's good, but that you sound a bit like us, because people, I think, because you do dance music, that's all you listen to. But we love classic rock. We love hip hop. What is it comes on in your car every time you turn it on?
Janet Devlin
singing a Christmas song.
I still listen to Pink and stupid things like that, for God's sake.
But it broadens your horizons so much and inspires you in such different ways, which you can draw from.
Yeah. The best music, in my opinion, was made in the 70s and 80s. You know.
100% agree with you. It was real people playing instruments, no computers or nothing, and they just.
But also the period where when the first electronic music came, then you still had these musicians who were perfect with original instruments.
Yes.
Pioneering with the synthesizers. You know, Queen had a electronic period, you know, but they were from the 70s. They were with traditional instruments, you know.
The album they did for the Flash Gordon soundtrack, that was very electronic music, sort of inspired and experimentation.
So before that, the Radio Gaga LP, you know.
Yeah. See, whenever I went and seen Garth Brooks a couple of weeks ago in Dublin, he done a Queen medley, and it was incredible. Like. And they were doing that Radio Gaga. No, they were trying to get, I think Queen done it, but it wasn't with Freddie Mercury, and they broke a record for the amount of people doing the clap in the middle of it. And I think Garth Brooks broke it that night, so he did. It was fun.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Next one then is, if you could have a drink with any person from history, who would it be and why?
A drink.
Or
A male.
I think my favorite actors, Robert De Niro, I would say.
Yeah. He's
My idol in acting.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I have different people that I really like. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. I once shook the hand of Mike Tyson.
Did you?
Okay.
You're a big
Yeah,
boxing fan, aren't you?
What?
You're really into boxing.
Yeah, like boxing training is my way to stay a little bit fit, And and Mike Tyson is my favorite boxer. And when I was in like 5 years ago, something with my father in Las Vegas, then he gave as a birthday present to me a meet and greet with Mike Tyson and a signed glove. So I had to shake his hand. I didn't know what to say. I even cried after that. Just happened. And that was like, he's so. That's you have famous people and really, really, really. The biggest on earth, and Mike Tyson is, in my opinion, one of them.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I agree.
definitely.
Yeah. Class.
Yeah.
Is there anything that people misunderstand about you?
Misunderstand. The only thing sometimes, I make different kinds of hardstyle. Sometimes dark, sometimes vocal, sometimes I have a really broad taste. And what I sometimes see, and that's logical, is that part of my fan base does not have a broad taste like me.
They prefer one track.
I sometimes get like, hey, why do you make this type of track or that type of track? So, so that's a misunderstanding. But maybe it would be commercial smarter to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
But you just want to make what's in your heart and what has to come out. And that's my thing. I like it all.
That's the point of music. It's there for you to be expressive of how you feel at the time. And obviously you have to.
So since a couple of years, I completely have peace with that. Before I was focusing myself more into the Haunter of the Dark. I was the Haunter of the Dark, and if it was not dark, I would throw it away.
Yeah.
And it locked me up a little bit in what I wanted to do. And after some time, I said, fuck that, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
And then came different tracks.
See, we are the same. If you look at our stuff, we have produced anything from 140 to 220. So like sometimes we'll release UK hardcore tracks, sometimes we release pure hardstyle tracks, raw tracks. It's just, we're like, as the UK would call it, we're a hard dance DJ. We play everything in the middle, but that's just the way we like it. And as you're saying there, it challenges us in the studio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it will get more and more accepted. The more international the music gets, the more accepted it will be, because you already see DJs now closing, hardstyle DJs closing sets with faster tracks.
Yeah.
And that's completely normal nowadays. And it was not 10 years ago,
Yeah,
it became more eclectic.
Yeah. Even trance DJs are now finishing with hardstyle.
Yeah.
The biggest names, the Chesto and Hardwell and played Zombie from Randy,
Yeah.
So
that's it.
That's super cool.
That's a crazy song. That was just not that how far that song itself reached. The Everywhere was just nuts. But
unreal. I think it's the most played hardstyle track in history.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Well,
I'm not surprised.
We've got to work harder then and beat it.
I'm not surprised though.
Well, the next one would be, if you could go back and give yourself or your 18-year-old self any advice, what would it be?
The one thing I regret is that when I started, I was with Driftwood. We had like all our own task, and I was more the melodical guy and from the ideas, and we had the other guy for the technical side. So what I would say now, looking back at the period, is make sure you are never dependent on somebody else, and learn the whole package.
That's what me and him do. I mix down, I master, I do.
build.
He writes the melodies, I mix, I master, I make the kicks and the synths, and he builds, and so we're sort of.
I rely on him and he relies on me.
We rely on each
Hey,
other.
that's good. That's good if you are friends for life,
Well,
and you know you will stay. But if that's not the case, then you will get troubles.
Well, that's it. This is our 10th year. We've just started together, so.
I think for you guys it's perfect, but looking back, Driftwood stopped after 2 tracks, and I would say to myself, "Hey, learn that complete shit," because I had to learn it afterwards, and that's why there is a some years gap between my Driftwood time and my time after that,
Yeah,
because I had to invest time in the technical craft.
Yeah. Right.
And if I knew that now, I would say go already when you were 15, 16, buy synthesizers, go technical,
Yeah, that's it. Right. So with the last one, if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be? If you would, or what would you like to be remembered for?
For doing a part in the hardstyle music, that's the only thing I want to be part of. The one thing I think, what my wish is, and a lot of my colleagues, is just we wanna write hardstyle classics.
Yeah.
That's your goal, and that's what constantly drives me to make a track that will survive time.
Yeah. I think you're well on the road to that.
Definitely. Well, that's one thing we've discussed on a few occasions on the podcast. The fact that now, as you say, from the 70s and 80s, there's so many classics, but because music can be made so readily available through Spotify or downloads or anything, if you don't put a tune out 1 month, next month, you kind of just get swept away, and no one has the joy of going to the record store and buying that CD and really appreciating the value of it, instead of just, I'll flick, no, I don't like that one. Next, I'll flick, that one's okay. It's a different market altogether now.
They don't like it anymore, they throw it off their playlist and the song is gone.
Yeah.
So you just want to now think about people are not having it anymore as a physical product, but they still have it in a memory, when like, oh, that summer, that was my track on the parties,
Yeah.
And that's what you hope now.
Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you very much for doing this. We really do appreciate
we really
it.
do.
And
no problem.
We'll see you next week for some fun in Belfast.
Let's make a great party, guys.
Yep.
And thanks for having me over.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for joining us. And again, tickets are available. Link will be down in the description.
Yep.
And we will speak to you next week.
See you at the party, guys.
Peace.
Buy your tickets. I see you at the Botanic Inn.
Yes.